Impact segment tonight. Police in D.C. have arrested 28-year-old Floyd Lee Corkins for shooting up the lobby of the Family Research Council building in what looks like a political crime. A security guard, Leonardo Johnson, was wounded but still managed to wrestle Corkins to the ground. The suspect reportedly was carrying sandwiches from Chick-fil-A. And the FRC is a conservative organization that opposes gay marriage. Do the math. Now, you may remember back in 2009, some in the liberal press accused me of encouraging the assassination of late-term abortionist George Tiller in Kansas. Well, I never called him a killer. I said that he was nicknamed Tiller the Baby Killer. That man is obviously not an honest person. He's also a late-term abortionist himself. I simply reported what Tiller was doing in detail, and the press hammered me for it. Now, it seems we might have a reverse situation, does it not? There's largely silence from the left-wing press about this incident in D.C. yesterday. Joining us from Washington, Tony Perkins, the president of the Family Research Council. First of all, how is Mr. Johnson, your security guy?
Well, Bill, he's doing well. I was with him last night when he came out of surgery about midnight, and he's going to have a pretty long road to recovery. It's going to take him a while. His wounds were not life-threatening, but they were substantial. But he's doing well.
How many times was he shot?
He was shot one time, and let me say this: he actually is our building's operation manager and kind of a side duty of security guard. He was not in uniform, was not armed. He disarmed this man who came at him with a gun, and in the process was shot, and then still managed to subdue him until other members of the staff could come to his assistance. And as I was with him last night as he came out of recovery, I told him, I said, Leo, not only does the FRC team consider you a hero, but most people in America for what you did.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a brave thing he did, and you're absolutely right. Now, do you see this as a politically motivated crime?
Well, the FBI is treating this as investigating it as an act of domestic terrorism. And terrorism is intended to strike fear and terror in the hearts of people for political purposes. So I will leave that to the officials to decide. But there's clearly, based on what took place there, a motive. Now, Bill, let me say this. The gunman, Floyd Corkins, pulled the trigger yesterday, and he's responsible for shooting my colleague and my friend. But let me say, I believe that the Southern Poverty Law Center is responsible for creating the environment that led to this. And the same thing you referred to just a few minutes ago, this saying you were using hate speech. Well, the Southern Poverty Law Center, because they disagree with our positions on marriage and certain religious issues, have labeled us a hate group. And that gives license to lunatics like this to come in with a gun and shoot innocent people.
So you're not surprised this happened. I guess you guys get threats all the time there, correct?
We do get some threats, but look, Bill, I've been in the political realm, as you have, for quite some time, and people used overcharged rhetoric. We do get threats. We do take precautions. But look, we never thought it would come to a point where people we disagree with on issues of marriage or religious freedom would come in with a gun and begin.
No, nobody does. It's a shocking situation, and as we said in the Tiller situation, there's no excuse for it. And right. I didn't exacerbate that situation, and I don't know about the Southern Poverty Law Center. We will check that out, absolutely. Now, the coverage, the media coverage on this, scant. And this morning when I got up, I was looking around to see who's going to report this. I hardly saw anything about it. I didn't see anything about it in the New York papers. Were you surprised that you didn't get a lot of coverage on it?
Well, I mean, to be quite frank, I wasn't paying a lot of attention to the media yesterday.
I got it. I mean, but you'll get a clip file. You'll see there's not a lot. And as you said, and I think the FBI will assume, because we understand that this guy who they have under arrest and custody, he volunteered at a gay clinic. He was an activist in that area. He ran the Chick-fil-A thing. Is that true? Did he bring Chick-fil-A in with him?
That I think this is where the issue comes in with the Southern Poverty Law Center, is that he came in not just with a gun, but with over 50 rounds of ammunition and 15 Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Now, as you know, the controversy over Chick-fil-A in the last couple of weeks, and in papers all across America and media reports, it was reported, Chick-fil-A and their statements about being anti-gay, and they supported the Family Research Council. Council. That's what reports have said. They gave us $1,000 a few years ago, far from being a big supporter of ours. We wouldn't mind having their support, but they haven't been that way. But in those reports, they say the Family Research Council, which is a hate group, a certified hate group from the Southern Poverty Law Center. So when you marginalize people like that or institutions, it gives license to people like this to take actions. And the authorities, they haven't released all the information, but I have been told by the investigators that what could have taken place yesterday, had Leo and others not stepped in, could have been a serious
if he had
loss of
50
life.
rounds and this guy was going to use that gun and he obviously pulled the trigger on your guy, Johnson, that could have been a catastrophe, almost like Colorado. Well, Mr. Perkins, we're glad that everybody is okay, including Mr. Johnson, who, as you pointed out, is a hero. And we will follow up at the Southern Poverty Law Center. They usually come on this program, so we're going to follow up on that report.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Okay.